All right. So here we go. Um, Good evening. So we've got an, let me just, there we go. All right. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Divintastical Living Stream. This is the third as we go forward. Tonight's is Embracing Divintastical Living, and all my streams are going to be about that. There's just a couple of things I'm also going to get going. So just give me one sec here. I'm trying something a little bit different today. Okay. So good evening. As I said, um, you are with Jen Drakes, and I wanted to just, I get a lot of that. So I just want to kind of reiterate who I am, what I'm all about, and what makes me um, qualified or even okay to have these discussions besides being a person with a lot of lived experiences, um, having my struggles from very young of age, and really going through all that was needed to take on, the change and really getting really comfortable with oneself besides the normal growing up in terms of becoming a teenager and hormones and getting comfortable within your own skin and then starting your career and all those sort of things. I'm really talking about having this deeper connection with oneself and just being unapologetic, living unapologetically, and framing the kind of life that you need. Not that others have defined for you, but what you need. And I really want to talk about that a little bit more. And I invite, those who are listening to really jump on and speak with me as I go through. By all means, jump on. I'm on most of the major platforms, so just join in the conversation. I'm going to be here for a while talking. I have a number of things to slated to discuss and talk about. And in this first part of the segment, um, let me step back a bit and just give you a little, as I said, a little about me and what it qualifies me to be here. So I am a board designated licensed master coach. That means I am accountable for what I do. I'm governed by a board, and I'm accountable to truly serve others and help them with their life and their mindset, and to what I call it is changing perspectives to change lives. So what that means is sometimes you're so caught up and you're so close in what is going on that you can't see the forest for the trees, and being able to get people grounded again and even change a little bit their perspective. And when I say change their perspective, I'm not talking necessarily a massive pivot. I'm talking about just a slight change in how they view their situation and how they're looking at it. Just a slight change of perspective can fundamentally change somebody's life. And those concepts, really intrigued me. And having gone through it myself, the Jen that's here talking to you is not the Jen that was there 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I've truly evolved my mindset. I've truly evolved my boundaries. I've truly evolved my life and my lifestyle and what I want to go after. And I've gone through the ups and the downs of life. I've dealt with all sorts of things, from the color of my skin to the a female career oriented person, um, being asked to stick to your lane, and all of these things I've gone through and had to deal with. So I get it. I really, really get it. Um, and everybody goes, some people say, oh, I don't have men. We're all subject to mental health. For me, it's something I call mental wealth, meaning how abundant is your mental state? How abundant is your physical state? How abundant is your spirituality? How abundant is your emotional state? All of these things I look at as wealth abundance. So, how abundant are you? And when I talk about divine-tastical living, I created that concept because I truly believe that our divine is within us. And and we tend to look externally for it, for divinity, and divinity is within us. So if it's within us, how do we get and tap into that divinity that's within us to really soar, to really accelerate our growth and accelerate where we are, and to get to a place of contentment, a place of fulfillment, a place where you don't feel like you are just getting by, where you're just going through the motions and you're actually not truly connected. That's what I'm talking about. So, how do you do that? And how do you really start to change some of the crap that we were handed? Let's face it, when we hit a certain age, we have to take on what we've been handed as children, because we are not in control when we are children. But when we're adults, we it's really, when we're celebrating all of these pivotal age points, hitting 18, hitting 21, it's about, we should be celebrating the fact that we now get to control our path. And in doing that, we've been handed things, and not all of it is great. Not all of it serves us best. And we have the opportunity at that point to start to dissect what the things we were handed that serves us, and what are those things do we want to keep, and what are those things that we don't wish to keep, and how do we slice and dice it to then frame what we need to move forward and get beyond what some of the things that we were handed and didn't have control over. That's our environment, that sometimes it's our family, sometimes it's our choices, how do we get beyond those things and really own? So when we talk about divine tastical living, we're really talking about becoming the artisan of your life. Starting to paint that for yourself, not what somebody painted for you or weaved for you. In my book Aladdin Carpets, I use the metaphor and analogies of weaving a carpet and getting on it and soaring to where you need, and all the ingredients that are needed to make that happen beautifully, like Aladdin. But another analogy is really a painting a canvas. So how do you paint the canvas that is truly you, and not settle for happy moments, but really looking for perpetual happiness and fulfillment as we go through this journey of life that we're on? How do we paint that for ourselves and define for ourselves who we are, what we're all about, what we value, what's important to us, what do we need? Not want. You notice I didn't say want. What do we need to thrive, truly thrive, and have perpetual happiness? And painting all of that is divintastically living. And how do we do that? So, what qualifies me? I am um, a life strategist, I'm an author, and I'm a business accelerator. And what backs all of that is my board licenses for neuro linguistic programming, timeline therapy, also known as creating your future, as well as hypnotherapy. And I've also got a certificate in the proceed change management, and I work with clients on that aspect of things. And I'm also a roadmap guide with the organization One Life Fully Lived. And what this means is I am in the master coach category among an elite group of coaches that can guarantee results in 42 countries. And my goal is to serve and to help others really understand their worth, understand that they were born perfect, understand that they're magnificent beings, understand that any power they seek externally already lies within, and tapping into that power and really soaring depending on what your aspirations are. And how do you go after those aspirations? How do you make it occur? And that is my practice. So on my streams and my podcast is called A Rays of Living. I urge you to follow me, support me. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. As Jen Drake's, and as I said, my podcast is on all major podcasts, Arena, Spotify. It's on my website is jendrakes.com. So I urge you to follow me, support me, and start to, because I consider Divintastical living a movement, not just a concept. It's a movement of change. It's a movement of change for ourselves. So in this first part of this session, one of the things I have to ask, and I've asked this of myself, I've had to answer it, I've had to um, figure it all out. I'm not going to ask you to do something I've not done myself. And thing I've had to do myself is figure out what I call stuff harbored inside that eventually sabotages essentially your shites. And as I said earlier, we're handed crap. And the crap that we're handed, I call shites. And it's not swearing, it's not anything. It's an authentic, it's a true word. You look it up in the dictionary. But, what shites are you carrying around that are governing your choices, governing how you look at life, governing how you pick things, governing, what you're all about? And was it really defined by you? Or are you just in the motions of just going through and accepting what you were handed? And if you're not happy with what you're handed, what can you do to change that? How can you get in the driver's seat and not be on autopilot? How can you, change your circumstances? What support do you need to do that? Can you do it all on your own? It's like peeling an onion skin, right? What triggers me under certain circumstances, and why does it trigger me? And oh, I don't like that. So how do I change that? And doing the work, because it's not just a desire to change, it's actual work to change. A simple example is, from my culture, we have very rich foods that don't always serve us best for my physical wealth, doesn't add to my physical wealth as I would like. So I spent years changing that, changing my propensity to eat unhealthy or to eat foods that are rich in certain things. That doesn't mean I shouldn't eat it, just doesn't mean I shouldn't eat it every day. So how do I get in control of that to manage my physical health and and to add abundance to my physical wealth? So that was something that I went after to change. And it took a long time, but I'm not governed by it anymore. I can now go to family gatherings. I can see the cultural foods that I love, and I can say no thank you. And I know how to manage it and manage the intake. Not that I'm depriving myself, but I am doing it in a way, I'm indulgent in a way that is healthy. So these are things that we have control over. But it has to be a conscious thing to say, I want control of this, right? So, how do you do that? So, if you're listening in, jump on for sure and join me, okay? Um, so, how do you do these things? They're not easy. So, one of the fundamental questions that I want to ask at this, at this stage is ask yourself, who am I? Really ask yourself that. Who am I? Right? I've had people say, I don't like who I am. So, if you don't change, make some changes. There's some changes that are more drastic than others that are probably driven from something. And I'm writing an article about one such change that, um, it's not driven from a healthy place. It's still driven by other people. So make sure the change, one, is healthy. Make sure the change is serves you and is in your best interest, right? And it isn't, and you're not detracting from your abundance in order to do a change, because that also isn't the way to do it, to go about it either. So I want, consider what your values are and say, who am I? And then make some affirmations about who you are. Who are you? Who am I? And in answering that for myself, I can tell you I am a mother, I am a daughter, I am a sister, I am light, I am in service. So you start to affirm what you're all about. And once you start to affirm that, then you can start to craft your life based on what you're all about, right? So you have to start somewhere and start really figuring out who you are and making sure that your answers correlate with what you're running and what you're doing on a day to day basis. Start to map those two things so there's consistency in not just what you say, but also in your actions. And start to tie those things more closely together. Right? So, who am I? Right? I'm an advocate. I'm an advocate of humanity. I'm an advocate of people. I'm an advocate of life. I'm a life strategist. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a business accelerator. And I am me, but I'm you. There's a lot of things we have in common. Others who are mothers can relate to me being a mother, right? So, who are you and what are you all about? What defines you? Well, how do you identify? I embrace. I am one who leads with love. So, what defines you? Because that's really important. We have to look at the human experience. And right now, we are living one life. We have one life to live. And if you're putting things that you need in the back, at the bottom of the list, that's not the right way to go through life. That is not how it's meant to go. You're meant to overflow your cup so that you have abundance flowing over to serve others, including your loved ones and your family and your friends. So if we're looking, you know, to really live life, some people put all their energy into their work and leave nothing for themselves or their loved ones or their personal lives. But you're all one person. All that's combined. The talents you use at work are part of you. There's no need to separate the two, but many times we do. We fragment ourselves. And when we fragment ourselves, we're not doing the best for ourselves. So, how do you live defragmented and as one unified person with a values and morals and with intent for something, right? How are you doing all of that? So, these are things that we need to think about and we need to consider when we start to think about the life we're living. Are you happy right now? Are you contented in the life you're living? And if you're not, pause, just pause for a minute with that. Consider what needs to change and what decisions are you not making that you need to make to guide you towards something different. What's holding you back? What's diminishing your light? These are all things that we have to look at. And as we go through, that curve of life where, you have your ups and then you have your downs, and sometimes you have and you plateau and then you go again. Like when we have those things, what if we don't have everything in place? Then when we're about to, we should be going like that, we go a little, our dip should be little, not too deep. But life will hit you. And then how do you pick yourself up when life hits you really hard? And we've all experienced those things. And what I've found is about being able to be very, very clear on that question, who am I? And doing the work when you're not sure about that to figure it out. And it ain't easy. And it isn't about, you know, diving in, because what a lot of people tend to do is they just, bounce from one social setting to another social setting, from one partner into another partner, because they don't want to deal with that. Their identity gets blended in all sorts of things. Their identity gets caught up in the family. Their identity gets caught up with their partner. Their identity gets caught up with their work. Their identity gets caught up with their extracurricular activities, but they never really stop to stand fully in who they really are. They're just knocking back and forth between, it's like the ping pong table where the ball releases and it's just banging back and forth among all these things. And then when some of those things don't light up when you hit it, the ball goes into the hole or you go into a rut and you're stuck there because you don't know how to get out from there. Think about the friend that tells you, no, I always need to have, I need to be in a relationship, like I need to have a guy at my, or a female or a partner at my side. Their identity is caught up in that, right? Think about all who those ping pongs, or the ones, you're caught up among friends and many of them don't support you really, or they're not your true friends, right? Who's caught up in that kind of, you know, posse type thing of friendships, but they're really not real connections. And when you give them a thought that I want to be this, there's something stopping you. They say things to stop you from proceeding, or they put you down, or some just dismiss it. And they're not that, cheerleaders cheering you on and saying, you can do this, about time, love it, let me know. If you need my help, let me know. If that little posse doesn't have those people doing that, they're probably not valuing you in the way that you need to be valuing. You're just settling. So, how do you answer the question, who am I? And what am I all about? What do I value? What is value for me? Because everything we do, we'll have value, right? But it's all good. It's all good stuff, right? You've got to value you. You got to start with you. The whole recipe of life starts with you. And I'm not talking about what you can't control when you're a child and your parents have authority over you and over your life. Those are things you can't really control too much. But when you become an adult, now you're accountable. I just in my podcast, this the unwanted state of accountability is what the podcast is called. It was the one that's the current one that's running now, and I talked about how we're accountable, right? After once we're adults, we're accountable for our life. We really are. And nobody wants to be accountable today. It's somebody's fault, it's always seems to be somebody's fault, but at the end of the day, is it really? How did we contribute to it? How did we play in that sandbox? Because in all those sort of things, it takes many times it's a decision we made or didn't make, because not making a decision is a decision. I talk about that in decision making beasts, right? I watched that. I think that in decision. I spoke about that in Decision Making Beasts, another podcast episode, in which I talk. We're wired for decision. We make decisions every second of the day. I made a decision to be here, to be on the air, to be speaking to you. So even when we don't make decisions, it's still a decision. When we choose not to decide, or when we choose not to choose, when we pass opportunity that could take us down one path or another, still a decision. So all of these things frame from starting to build a more solid relationship with ourselves, with yourself, and making time for yourself. Because when you make time for yourself is when you start to figure these things out. But if you bounce in a day from hour to hour, minute to minute, busy, 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 and don't take time for yourself, that's how you then get somewhere and you think, how did I get here? What happened? What happened, right? You get to a point and you go, how did I get here? What in the world happened? And we are still accountable for where we are, based on the decisions we make. And sometimes, if we're really in tune and we're really connected to the divinity within, a lot of times those decisions and the journey has purpose. And we only discover later, right? The journey has purpose and we only discover later. And then you can look back and go, wow, who would have thought that when I chose this, it would have taken me here? So, who are you? What are your aspirations? What dreams have you dropped that you probably shouldn't have and you should be pursuing? Because you need to fill your cup. You need to fill your cup and you need to then overflow it to be able to then come and help others and serve others and give some of that overflow. But if you're pulling from a depleted cup, a wealth depleted cup, then you're impacting yourself in harsh ways that come out either with health issues, emotional issues, all of these sort of things. So, are you filling your cup? Are you embracing yourself and loving yourself and doing all the things that nurture you so that you can nurture others? Have you put something you really wanted on the bottom of the pile and you're running around doing everything else for everybody else until you're forgotten? Well, I don't want you to be forgotten. You're magnificent. You're perfect. We were all given gifts. It's my fundamental thing. I believe we were all given our gifts. And we are meant to use those gifts to reach our purpose in life. The only way we can reach our purpose in life is to use the gifts we were given, the God-given gifts we were given. Because it's in using those gifts that sparks us, whether it's singing, whether it's writing, whether it's, inventing things. It doesn't matter, whatever it is. Use it because it had a purpose when it was given to you. And it tied to a dream that you had. And if you're going after your dream, oh my gosh, I applaud you. Keep going, no matter how hard it is. Trust me, I know. Keep going. I'm here to tell you, keep going. I'll be your cheerleaders on the sidelines. Use your magnificent gifts. See what unfolds for you, what opportunities drop in your lap because of those gifts, and make the decisions you need to make. But please don't have your dream just thrown away, forgotten. Do even some of you remember what your dreams might have been? Revisit that. That requires you to stop a minute, pause a minute in what you're doing, and start to flow some of the energy that you're putting out on others and on other things that won't move you forward. You need to stop a minute, recoup some of that energy and put it back into yourself. And in fact, I would encourage you that you need to recoup most of the energy that you're putting out to put back in yourself. And then when you built yourself where you want and you start to see things unfold, you can then serve others. So, who are you and what are you about? Again, in one of my podcasts, I call out what I'm all about. I do call out what that is. Right? And I've done the work to qualify myself to help you and to help others find their way and figure these things out, including their shites. I want you to include your shites. And for anyone jumping on who are now kind of jumping in the mix, just to reiterate, I just want to repeat so everybody understands. I'm Jen Drakes and I'm creator of Divintastical Living as a concept and a movement. And what that's all about is you becoming the artisan of your life. You actually taking control, getting in the driver's seat of your life. And painting, weaving, whatever you want to call it, but creating and co-creating who you are and what you're all about. And pushing off those things that people might have put on you to say this is what you're all about. If it's true, good. If they were accurate, wonderful. But what if they weren't accurate? What if you're living somebody else's perception of you and you're not actually living you? Think about that for a minute. Let's stop for a minute and pause. Wow. How scary is that? You know? Hopefully I nudge one person. I'm okay if I'm on here and I nudge one person, because it takes one person at a time to come into their light, to step into their spotlight. Because that's what we're all meant to do. Right? We all have our own spotlight. We just need to step into it and claim it. On social media, you hear people say, claim your throne. Well, claim it. To me, it's your spotlight. Took me a while before I stepped into mine. I made all sorts of excuses. I played ostrich, buried my head in the sand. So I know what it is to stop and say, no, I'm a writer. I'm a damn good writer. And I'm going to publish a book. I'm going to get one of my books published, and then to do it. To say my gift is one of writing and speaking. So I'm publishing my book, and I'm about to publish another one. That was acknowledging my gift of writing. Doing my podcast and my streams as I'm doing now is acknowledging and stepping into my light related to my gift of speaking and influencing. So, what is your spotlight? Hey, Tommy, how are you? Just here responding to someone who communicated with me. Haven't seen him for a while. How are you? Right? Why are you apologizing, Tommy? By the way, why are you apologizing? I know. I want you to hear me. How have you been? Thanks for reminding me of that. That's me again. But how have you been? And why are you apologizing? Tell me why. I agree, laugh. You know me. I was so happy to see you. I just wanted to communicate, completely forgetting that. Yeah, you can absolutely hear me. How's it been for you? Rough? It's been rough for everybody. Okay, good. Rough and then better. Awesome. It's been rough for everybody. Everyone's, we've all had our hits for sure. Since what? As I'm streaming, guys, just for all of you that can't see what's going on, I don't want you to think I'm ignoring you. It's just someone's communicating with me and I'm responding to them. So I just wanted to keep everybody informed what's going on. So you said it's been 1 month and 5 days. What does that mean, Tommy? Since what? Since things have been gone but getting better, it's been one. Ah, okay. So it's been health issues. Massive love goes out, and you'll be in my prayers. Yeah, we all, oh, yeah. So Tommy, who's communicating with me, has been struggling with his mental health, and this is what this is what I'm talking about. We really need to um, we really need to get abundance into our mental cup. We need to fill it, and I call it mental wealth. Like, are we depleting from our mental wealth? And Tommy, I'm glad to hear you're getting better, because I want to always know that you're good, and that's hard. We've all had our hits. I was a person didn't necessarily think I had mental health concerns, and then went through the 2020 and the George Floyd and all sorts of things, and that had a strain for sure. That took its toll on me. Um, and as we work on ourselves and up level ourselves, we've got to do all the things that helps to enrich our mental wealth and get make it healthy, right? We need to stop. We need to slow our pace. We need to give ourselves time in each day just to compose, just to you know, re-energize, regenerate, reset, and not just keep going, 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 going. Right? We need to breathe. We need to just give ourselves the space. Yes, exactly. To heal and revitalize. And that means making time every day for ourselves. And if it's just, reading a book, or listening to music, soothing music, whatever, pick your music. I happen to like all sorts of music. Exactly. Cleaning, meditating, whatever it is. Take time for ourselves. If you love, like, I know some people that love plants, like they literally have a green thumb, as they would say. Take time and do that. Like, take time, plant a new plant, or go and tend to one that you have. But take whatever it is that revitalizes you and resets you. Take time to do that. If it's going for a walk, go for a walk, right? We've got to give ourselves what we need to put abundance into our different cups. And those cups are mental, physical, spiritual, emotional. Put abundance into those. Because if you deplete them, you cannot support others. So we still got to take time. Our bodies will force us to take the time. If we don't do it voluntarily, our bodies will force us to do it. And you don't want our bodies. Okay, Tommy, you don't want our bodies forcing us to take the time that we chose. Notice that we decided not to take. There was one person I was working with, and it was really hard to get them to carve out 30 minutes out of a 24-hour day for themselves. 30 minutes out of 24 hours was like pulling teeth to get them to get, really do that for themselves. Come on, we need to do this. And as I said, if you're not going to decide to do it, At some point, your body will decide it for you. And what will it take? What will it take for your body to have cancer? For you to stop and say, I'm taking time for myself? For some other kind of health issue, a heart related or something else? It's like, are we really going to allow our bodies to get into a health situation to get us to stop? Anxiety, depression, whatever we want to call it, because our bodies will do it for us. So, given those types of things, I prefer to choose to have time for myself. I prefer to choose to do things for myself and release that pent up negative energy in some way positive. Turn it into positive energy. Always make sure positive energy is flowing through your space. So, how do you do that? And again, it comes down to, what do you value? What do you value? And again, for all of those new joining in, just you're listening to Jen Drake's Master Coach in Neurolinguistic Programming, Timeline Therapy, also known as Creating Your Future, Hypnotherapy, Change Management, and I'm a roadmap guide for the organization One Life Fully Lived. And I really want to speak to that because when I originally came up with my podcast, it was called One Life Fully Lived. So you can see I love that because that is what we're going through. We're living our one life. Sure, divinities within the body will die and my spirit will go on to something else. But as long as I'm here today and I have this life to live, I want to try and live it to the fullest that I possibly can. And for a number of years, I was in a rut. I was really in an emotional rut. I became, somewhat lethargic. I had lost something very dear to me, and I played ostrich. And I leaned on others I probably shouldn't have leaned on to get through each day. And things started falling down around me, falling apart. And then I built back up, and then one day I had an epiphany. It was time to step into my light. It was time. And I did. I made the pivot, and oh my goodness, thank God I did. Thank heavens I did. Because that's how I'm here now before you, board designated, licensed, accountable to serve, to help others. And my goal is for you to know how much you are worth. Because Divintastical living is about your worth. You're worthy. You're worth something. We all are. And it's for us to step into our light and acknowledge that. If nobody's told you today or any day, I'm here to tell you, you are valued, you're magnificent, and you were made perfect. There is nothing for you to change. Think about that. What you have to do is step into your divinity. Step in to your light with the gifts that you were given. Use them and go down the path of using them to see where they will lead. And I can tell you, and I'm not even at near the end of my journey, and the magnificent things that have unfolded when I decided to come out of the closet as being a writer. I was a closet writer. I literally would write and hide my stuff or put them away and keep them to myself till someone read my stuff and said, "You're really very good. You're a good poet. You're a great writer. Why are you not publishing this stuff?" And I came out. Many people use that for something different, but I came out as a writer. And I decided to leverage the gifts that were given to me as a child. I talked all the time as a child. I wrote my thoughts and I spoke and I loved speaking, and I was high when I was on stages and speaking, publicly and all of these things. I loved it. But I never accepted it. And even in high school, I was helping other people figure out their problems. I was literally doing that in high school. I started a group called Students for Progress, me and some friends. And we we raised funds, we did all sorts of programs. We were helping other kids. And I was doing that as a teenager. And then I don't know what happened. I got sideswept. I got off of my path and then finally got back on. Right? So I don't want, especially my heart is with youth and young adults. I don't want them spending 30 years trying to figure it out. I mean, if that's the path they're taking, okay, by their decisions. But I want young adults to understand that the gifts they are given is what they're supposed to use and go along that path, trust the path, and everything will start to unfold. Little miracles will start to happen. You will start to get messages and downloads from within guiding you to what you need to, the opportunities you need to grasp and where you need to go and what you need to do. And they truly are as miraculous as I speak about. And I think others who are on this journey can jump on and talk about some of those miracles. But I don't want anybody to have other people make them feel less than they are, because they aren't. Right? Thanks, Tommy. Talk to you another time. Enjoy. Okay, enjoy. Thanks for joining. You too, hugs and kisses. You know that. You know that. Mama says. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Okay? Enjoy. So, yeah. So, jump on, talk with me. Let me know what's going on. What are your thoughts? What are things going through your head as I talk? I can talk all night. As I said, that's my gift. The gift of gab. In high school, they used the thing BBM, big blabbermouth, because that was me. Always chatting up, laughing, all of these things. Bye, sweetie. So yeah, so what are some of the things that you're going through your mind? This is lot. This is us. This is, you know, we're such amazing humans. Yay, human, right? We're so amazing. So how, ask the question, who am I? Who am I? What am I all about? So that's what we covered this first in the first hour. So let's go on to the next thing I want to talk about is courage and bravery. So, starting out, we talked about who am I and about advocacy and really getting in touch and taking time for yourself and all of that. But I want to talk about courage and bravery because a lot of life is about getting very courageous. And when I talk about courageous and bravery, I talk about unapologetic living, right? And to get into unapologetic living is laying down the ground, framing your sandbox and saying, this is what I stand for. This is what I'm all about. And I am and doing it unapologetically. A very simple example that I would use for you is years ago, it's probably now, oh my gosh, well over 10 years. Well over 10 years. I made the decision. I'm coming off media. I'm not listening to any media. I'm sorry, it doesn't make my day. It doesn't serve me well. It puts me in the wrong frame of mind, right? It can make you paranoid. It can make you anxious. It can make you angry. Didn't want no. So what did I do? I cut the cable. I pulled the cable from my surroundings. Wasn't interested in cable anymore. And I've never looked back. Never look back. Don't miss it. Don't care. I want to find things out for myself. I want to research, which also helps my writing. So works out better for me. And no, unapologetically. And I remember the reaction of friends when when I told them I was stopping the cable, and they were like, "What do you mean stopping the cable? How are you? What in the world, right?" Don't care. Unapologetically, don't care. It's nonsense. It's a silly way of wasting my time. I only have X amount of time on this earth. I'm sorry, I'm not wasting it sitting thing. If I want to see something, if I want to look at something, I'll go and do it. So now I do everything on demand. I don't do it. I have no cable. Don't watch the news. I still get news information. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not in it, and I'm not being told how I should think or what I know. If I hear something, I go and I look it up myself. I research it. I get to really understand it from a much deeper level and a much more holistic level. And anything I'm curious about, I look up. I don't look for people to tell me how So it's been like the best thing. When I tell you the best thing I've ever done was shutting off my cable and not looking at media. To the point, even when I go into public places and they have the TVs on the wall just spinning the news over and over again. I put in my earphones, I ignore it, I do not look, I have no interest because all that thing's doing, as far as I'm concerned, is comatosing you to one bad set of news after another. There's never, very rarely anything positive. It's always about somebody, something happened here, and always negative in some way. And so I choose not to. And you know what? As I said, best thing I've ever done. Because what happens, let me get really serious about what happens. When you do that, you get up and you decide your mindset for the day. You get up and you decide what kind of day you're going to have. You get up and you decide what you're going to do with that day. You get up and you do the things that nurture you, that uplevel you, that grow you. And you maximize the hours in your day. That's what happens when you do that. And at least that's how it worked out for me. And I love it. So I'm not influenced. I've heard Dean Graziosi, he does the same thing. Tony Robbins do the same thing. I didn't do it because of them. I found out later that's the lifestyle they choose as well. Not to be influenced by the news. You start to decide how you'll deal with different situations, how you'll deal with people, how you'll, embrace or not embrace. So I have happy days I laugh through my days, and I truly enjoy each day. And now I don't, in 2020 with all the pandemic and everything that was going on, that's where I was saying to Tommy, I made the mistake. My mom called me very upset in tears. And I went to look to see what she was talking about. And I wish I'd never done that, because it was really mentally draining on me, to that whole George Floyd thing, not to bring up anything negative, but it was just very mentally draining. And I've not done that since. So now I'm very careful too when things are emotionally charged, to try and find out. I'm very careful now because I don't want to put myself through that again. So I'm now even more careful, even on the on demand, careful what I look up and what I think, unless it's actually researching something I want to write about. So we get, and the reason I'm telling you this is because at the end of the day, we get to decide to what degree we want to be in control of our lives, to what degree we want to be in that driver's seat. And I am not for cruise control when it comes to my life. And hopefully you aren't either. I am not looking to go on cruise control. I'm looking to get into gear, switch gears, right? Put on some tunes as I'm going through life. So if you're not in control, who's in control? So we all have to make those decisions at some point, and that's where the whole accountability comes in. We also have to continue to make decisions and recognize we're making decisions, and don't put off the decisions that we need to make, because all of a sudden we've made it dramatically. I've got to make a decision, when you're all up to that point, you were making decisions. You decided to get out of bed if you're capable of doing that, like capable of getting out of bed. You're in a situation. Um, and if you're in a situation where you yourself can't rise from the bed, there's other decisions that have to be made. But the point that I'm making is that we make those decisions every second, every minute of the day. But then when it comes to really life altering types of decisions, opportunities, choices, we get all frazzled. And sometimes some of us just play ostrich and put the decision under the carpet, or avoid the decision. But we make decisions all the time. And choosing not to even to put it under the carpet is a decision. So I think when we start to understand these types of things, we tend to make life more dramatic than it needs to be. And how can we simplify life and redirect it in where the direction we need it to go in? How do we do that? That's what we're really talking about and asking ourselves, right? So how do we do that? And it requires courage. It requires bravery. Choosing to be in the cockpit of the plane, choosing to be in the driver's seat of the car, choosing to be in that space of your life and be in control of your life. And choosing and making those choices requires courage, requires bravery. It requires that to speak up, right? Not in a critical way, not in a confrontational way, but to have a voice, have intentions, champion your intentions, make sure people around you and who are around you are championing your intentions. They're not putting you down and saying, oh, you can't do that. What makes you think you can do that? Child, you can't do that. Yeah, I've known you for you can't. Like, whatever the conversation is, make sure you have cheerleaders on your side and supporters who will support your intentions and do things intentionally. And there's some ingredients for it. Divintastical living as a movement tells you what some of those things are, right? The Divintastical living guidances that go up on Instagram and Facebook and all of these things on a weekly basis gives you the nuggets that you need. One of the things that I said, we wake up every day as somebody new. Every day we're dealing with a new version of ourselves. That's why we bathe and wash the dead cells off. Because we've regenerated some stuff and we've left the dead cells, right? We're washing those dead cells off. That means that we have something new there. So it's a new thing. I've heard people say that science is telling us that we grow new organs. Imagine if we do, we're a new person. So if you think of the concept that every morning you get up and you are waking up to a new you, why are we stuck in the past? Look at the new you in the mirror and go, okay, what am I doing today? What is this new Jen doing today? How do I, make Jen shine? So how do you make you shine every day? How do you make every day count? And that means not putting you at the back burner. Not putting you at the bottom of the barrel. That's what that means. It means bringing you up to the top. Doing things for yourself, taking you up to the top. When your neck aches or you feel a little pang somewhere and you go, oh, I got to deal with, I got to deal with the kids and the family and the hubby, and the partner and all these sort of things first. And you ignore the little pain that came out on your side or a pain in your neck, or you ignored it because you can dismiss it because you got things to do. And all of a sudden it builds and it builds and it builds and something explodes into something that could have been avoided. Bring you from the bottom of the barrel up. Find time in the day for yourself. As I said, I had somewhat hard to find 30 minutes. It seems astounding that in a 24-hour day, someone cannot find 30 minutes to give self-love and self-care and just put themselves first. That seems astounding. It does. But I get it. I get it. We've been conditioned to think doing that means we're selfish. Right? It's not selfish. You've heard enough people speak on that on every type of platform. It isn't selfish. We need to fill our cup and overflow it in order to help others. And if you're helping others from an empty cup, it will build and build and build and explode based on something. In some way, shape, or form, it will do that. Usually a health problem. So if you think of 4 cups, one is mental, one is physical, one is spiritual, and one is emotional. Are you filling those cups? Are you overflowing those cups? Are you maturing those cups? Are you embracing those cups? Are you loving the cups out of all those cups of yourself? and overflowing them so you can nurture someone else? That is a big question. Right? How are you doing that? Are you doing that? And if you aren't, why not? If you aren't doing that, why not? I'd love to hear from you. Why not? Why aren't you taking time out for you? If you love writing, are you taking time to write? Anybody who writes, I'm a writer. I'm an author, published book on Amazon, Aladdin Carpets. Required time to write. Take time to write. If your body is feeling tired, it's okay. Take time, put your feet up and rest. That's okay. Your body's telling you it needs time to revitalize. Why are you not doing it? And for those who are, I applaud you. I really do. I commend you. Thank you for doing that. So for anyone that just jumped on, that's new, I see some more people have jumped on. I am Jen Drake's board licensed, which means I am accountable. Have someone overseeing the work that I do. I'm accountable for the work that I do with others. And I'm board licensed as a master coach in neurolinguistic programming, in timeline therapy, also known as creating your future, as well as hypnotherapy. And that's neuroscience, how our minds work, how our bodies work, and how our spirits work. I'm also a practitioner of change management, so I understand how change affects us as humans. And I am a roadmap guide for one life fully lived. So ample credentials for why I'm here speaking to you. And getting you to a place where you really think about where you want to go and deal with what I call in my book, Aladdin Carpet, stuff harbored inside that will eventually sabotage your shites. We've been talking about, how do you gather and change what you are. So just to do a little bit of recap to keep everybody on board of what I'm talking about. So we all have shites. You know why? Because there's no perfect family. There really isn't. There's no white picket fence perfect family. In fact, the more perfect the family seems, the scarier it is for me, personally. Right? There is no perfect family. So we all get shites and we all end up with shites. And shites to me are when you are a child, parents are in control of your life. They really are. They have the finances, they make decisions, and they also, in raising you, send you messages. And some of those things serve you really well, and some not so much. And then when you become an adult, you're handed a treasure map. And on that treasure map will be some things that also includes crap, which is your shites. So you want to be able to separate the treasure pieces from the crap pieces. And the crap pieces, depending on what they are, you want to replace them with good things and start to rebuild, to build who you are as an adult and what you stand for. And a lot of times it's messaging that doesn't serve you well or made you feel a certain way. So then your emotional wealth cup is depleted, right? Sometimes that gets shown in your physical wealth cup with behavior that could be anorexic behavior or overeating behavior where food becomes your little security blanket. So then you are overweight, right? Or of a heftier disposition, I can put, because I never like to say anything like that is negative or positive. That's not what I want to make that very clear. But things start to unfold because of certain things you were handed. Earlier, I used the thing that in my culture, food, everything happens around food. And our food happens to be rich food that will not serve me well in older age or health wise. So I had to change my desire for my cultural food and make sure I was in control of it, not the cravings or not the impulse eating. And it took me years to get to that point, right? I used that as an example earlier. It took me years. And I had to clean those things up. So I use that example to show we've got to figure out what the crappy things are that we were handed and decide which ones we wish to keep and which ones we wish to discard. And many times the discarded things or the things you wish to discard will leave gaps. So you got to fill those gaps and you got to make sure you fill the gaps right to, you know, create a more wholesome you. That one that you can look at and go, yeah, I like that. Right? And sometimes the bad, like the negative things that happened in our lives framed a wonderful person because you got the empathy to understand how others would feel when those things happen. So a lot of times, for me anyway, it worked that way. The negative things that was fed is who made me who I am today. A lot of times, so gave ended up being good for me, even though it was hard to go through it. It was actually excruciating to go through. Coming out on the other side, I'm actually grateful that that happened to me because it grounded me. It made me reflect. It made me create a deeper relationship with my divinity within. And I love the person that I am and have become and have grown into. And it's all because of those things. So it depends on how you want to paint. Where things start to go downhill is when you create the stories that, and you hang on to those and you can't get beyond because you're focused on what you don't have rather than what they gave you. And you're focused on the deliverer or the delivery and not focused on what the lessons that you learned were. Because all those things happened for you, not to you. They happened for you. So if they happened for you, what is the lesson you learned that you're then grateful for that you learned it? Especially for me, I learned those lessons early. So I had an easy teenage year because I had already learned a lot of lessons. So I didn't need to go through those things in my teenage years and create, be a difficult teenager. I wasn't a difficult teenager because many of the life lessons that would help me, that I would encounter in my teenage years, I had already learned. So things are done for you, not to you. And it's all about the mindset that you have. So how do you get beyond and start to embrace you? And how many of you do self hugs? How many of you take the time to do a self hug and just really, how many of you can look and say, this is what I love about myself, right? So my hair, I love my hair. Love my hair. I cut it once, I won't cut it again. Right? That was painful. I shouldn't have cut it, but I did anyway. Well, I got in one of those moods, cut it, and I would never cut it again. But at 15 years old, I asked about putting my hair like this, and I didn't get a good response from my mom. My mom was like, "Hell no," you know. And but then when I became an adult, because this is exactly what I'm saying to you, when I became an adult, I made the decision to do this and never looked back. Once I did it, I never looked back. Never will. Never go back to thing. I love my hair. So no, at 15 I couldn't do it because my mother was in control, and she said no. When I became an adult, I can make that decision for myself. So that's something I changed. So my point is still, yes, we're handed crap. When we leave our home, we're given a whole bunch of crap, but we're also given some amazing things. So we have to figure out and be able to separate the crap from the amazing things and replace the crap with something else. So there's no gaps. But it's an exercise we have to do as adults. It's like a rites of passage. That's what we are accountable to do for ourselves. So we need to do that. It's like taking inventory. And what you decide to be the crap, all the shites, and what you decide to be the good outcomes of all of the shites, and a good outcome of your childhood, and a good outcome of leading into adulthood. You treasure. But let's do the work on the crap. Let's get beyond the crap. Do the work. Blend it back in with the other good stuff and create an amazing end result. Appreciate the gifts. Get back to pull up those dreams that other people squashed. Pull them back and see if they're still valid. And if they're still valid, go after the dream. That's what we need to do. And make all the decisions to go based on going after the dream. Do all the hard work based on going after the dream. And once we know the good from the not so good, we're able to live a life of gratitude and grace. How is called grace? We're able to do G squared, grace and gratitude. What I call G squared, G to the power of 2. Grace and gratitude. Do those. You're able to do that now because it takes work to know the difference and to know your shites and know the good things. It takes work. So when you're doing that work now, as you realize, you know what? The story I was saying was this. I was so bad. I was so focused on the bad. I failed to see the good. And now that I can see the good, wow, there's more good than bad. Do the work. And then when you do the work, you're able to introduce G squared into your life. G to the power of 2, grace and gratitude. And once you got those things in, then you can start with documenting. Putting pen to paper and start to document these amazing discoveries of yourself and of your life and of your past. And you can start to embrace it in a bowl of appreciation and gratitude. And then you start to light up. You're starting to flip on the switches. And you're starting to step into your spotlight. Yes, you are. You're starting to step into your spotlight. How exciting is that? Ooh, I've got goosebumps. I'm just so like. Because I'm excited for those who are going to say, after listening to this, I'm pulling myself and my needs and my dreams out from the bottom of the barrel and I'm putting them in front. And I'm going to go after them and I'm going to pursue them and I'm going to do it while appreciating me, appreciating what I have. I'm going to embrace myself and I'm going to practice self-love. I'm going to start some affirmations. I'm going to take one step, one day at a time, and I'm going to get there. And if you need help getting there, reach out. I'm more than happy to help with that. Because it ain't easy. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's easy. It takes commitment. It takes determination. It takes perseverance. And guess what? On your way, even by making the decision, I'm going to do this. On your way, you're going to fall off the bus or you're going to fall in the ditch and you got to get out of there. And you might do that a couple of times. Then you get really adept at jumping on the running bus or pulling yourself out of the ditch. And you're going to get good at it. And you're going to start to even get so good at it, you're going to start to recognize when you kick in with self-sabotage to put you back in the ditch or flip you right off the bus. You're going to actually start to recognize the behavior. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's easy. What I'm saying, you have to first make the decision to do it, that you're willing to commit to pursue you. What will it take for you to choose you? Because I'm here to tell you, you are worth more. And if you accept that you're worth more and you want to pursue that worth, know you are worth it. Know that you are worth it. And once you've made that choice, don't disappoint yourself. Always make the decisions that won't allow you to disappoint yourself. Always choose the paths that won't allow you to disappoint yourself. And then I'm going to talk. What I'm going to talk about now is that in doing that, that is where you're planting your seed and cultivating, literally, that analogy. You are recognizing your worth, and you're taking that seed of worth and you're planting it and you are nurturing it and you're weeding and you're, fertilizing the soil and it starts to sprout and it's going to grow and you want to clip off the dead leaves and you're going to just frame and make that beautiful thing because you're creating a space for fertile ground. And once you create that space, trust me, your divinity will throw the stuff into that space to help you to grow and up level and mature and shine. But you got to step into the light. Step into your spotlight. You got to make a commitment to yourself. And a commitment to yourself is a commitment to 4 buckets: mental, physical, spiritual, emotional. That's what a commitment to you. And to show you, I've up leveled since I wrote my book. And my book had 3: mental, spiritual, and physical. Since my up leveling, since continuing the journey and going, just to show you the growth, emotional is a valid one of now. So we grow, and it's exciting, the growth. But it means you must believe in yourself and you must get to self-awareness, self-love, self-care. Put yourself first because you got to flow those cups. Flow those cups. And what are you waiting for? What decision do you need to make that you're not making? What decision is that? And why aren't you making it? And don't tell me fear, because fear is just an acronym for face everything and rise. If you haven't heard it, remember that. Fear is an acronym for face everything and rise. So it's not fear. And if it is fear, that's because you have a different perspective. So hang on this perspective of fear. Face everything and rise. It's a good thing when you have fear. It's a good thing when you recognize that fear is present. It keeps you humble. It keeps you grounded. That's what fear does. Anybody that's about to grow exponentially will have fear. But that's okay. Make it your fuel, because you will face everything and rise if you do step into the fear. Acknowledge the fear. Don't let it rule you. Just acknowledge it, then set it aside and move on despite fear. So if fear is something that is holding you back, don't let it. Face it and rise. And if you're scared of rejection and you're scared of hearing no's, 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 Lord knows for pitching a book and all these sort of things, those are the arenas where you will get rejection. So if it's rejection because of the no, 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 just remember no is next opportunity. So every time you get a no, you just think next opportunity. And shrug it off and move on, keep going. Colonel Sanders for KFC got rejected 1,000 times. Bill Gates for Microsoft got rejected over 300 times. And so on and so on and so on. They kept going till they got the answer and the person or whatever they needed. And from there they soared. So no is just next opportunity. Don't hang on it. Don't take it personal. Next opportunity, move on. J.K. Rowling's 10 years after writing the book, she got what she needed. 10 years of hearing no, or I'm not sure how that fits. And look at her now. So you don't know the ending of the story. The story is as you go through the journey. But first, you must go through the journey in the right way with the right mindsets. And then things start to unfold, and you get to look back years later and go, wow, how far I've come. That's where I am. I look back and I think, wow, how far I've come. And I'm not at the end of the journey. How exciting is that? I find that exciting. I'm growing, I'm developing, I'm flourishing in many ways, but not necessarily the ways of society. I may not be flourishing the way society, but I'm flourishing the way my divine wants me to flourish. And that's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. Wow. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? All you jumping on is Jen Drakes. You're listening to Jen Drakes. Please follow me, jendrakes.com. Please go there and follow me. I'm also on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn. Follow my podcast. It's called The Rays of Living. I'll put it in the chat. My podcast is A Rays of Living. I would love if you follow me there, just so you can know. Follow me. It's on all the major airways. But it's also on my website, so you can go and listen to the episodes there as well. So it's A Rays of Living. So please, jendrakes.com, and it's 2 N's. 2 N's for Jen. So please go there, listen to the podcast, and just support me. I would appreciate that. You can follow me on YouTube, on I'm on all the platforms, so thank you. I'll thank you in advance for the support. Right? But yeah, awesome. Just awesome. So jump on if you want to chat with me, jump on. I'd love to have you as a guest on and just talk out some of this on, who are you? When you think, who am I? What do you think? Do you know? Can you reel it off because you know it so well and you're such an intimate relationship with yourself that you know who you are? Or do you put up a facade 24/7? Do you put up a facade? And why do you? If you do. And if you don't know, why don't you? And if you're not putting some time into connecting with you and staying connected with you and staying grounded with who you are, why aren't you doing that? Are you choosing you because you know you're worth more and that you're worth it and you have worth? Do you know you're magnificent? Are you doing the work to fill your cups, your mental, your physical, your spiritual, and your emotional cups? Are you there to fill it? And by the when I say emotional cup, it's not that you're driven by emotion. It's that you've matured your mindset and the way you look at things in a way where emotion is managed. You're managing emotion. That's what I mean by filling your emotional cup. You become adept at managing emotions. And so you can nurture others on how to manage theirs. Are you filling your cup on spirituality because you are in touch with your divinity within? And you are actually so in tune you can hear that voice speaking to you. Are you filling your cup with physical related to your physical? Are you exercising? Are you eating well? Are you taking care of your physical being, your hygiene, everything? Are you taking care of yourself? And when you fill your cup, then with the mental, are you taking time to breathe, to revitalize, to regenerate? Are you meditating? Are you reflecting? Are you journaling? Are you doing all the things that connects you and grounds you and keeps your mental state healthy and wealthy? Are you doing all those things for all four of those states of who you are, of those dimensions of you? Are you nurturing them as a holistic set of dimensions of you to help keep you complete, grounded, and in tune with who you are and what you need? Are you clearing space for fertile ground? Are you, irrigating it? Are you planting your seed and irrigating and watering and weeding and, snipping here and there the dead leaves or anything and just nurturing it to grow, to cultivate? Are you sowing your seeds, knowing that you're a seed of worth, knowing what you need to flourish and to go after your intent? Do you have an intent? Or are you just wandering aimlessly through life? Last year, I opened up with the amount of 525,600 minutes. Remember that song? That's how many minutes is in a year. And when you then think of all the years you have based on longevity, today's state of longevity, how many minutes, hours, seconds do you have left? And will you waste them? How many right now are wasting their time? Because the time they're using isn't taking them where they need to go. How many are stuck? How many don't know where to even begin? Right? How many don't know where to begin? So, are you maximizing the time you have on this earth? Maximizing it. So you leave this earth with no regrets. And more importantly, not only do you leave this world with no regrets, but you also leave it leaving a legacy of you, letting people know you were here and you counted for something and you did something amazing. And in your writing, a purposeful thing that you were charged to do when you came into this world. Are you looking at life that way? Because I'm here to tell you that's how I'm looking at life. And that's why I created Divintastical Living. Because it is about becoming the artisan of your life. It is about living fully your life. It is about maximizing every minute of your life, every day. It is about gratitude and waking up and being grateful that your eyes are open and you get to spend another day and you get to really embrace the new you that started that day. And you recommit every day to go after the intentional purpose of you. And you set the space for all of that to grow and manifest in the way it needs for you. And you start to listen to that internal dialogue that's guiding you, your divine within, and guiding you to make certain decisions, to seize certain opportunities, do certain things, and action, 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 action along the journey of your life. And in journeying your life, will you leave a legacy? And on a legacy, I'm not talking money, talking inheritance, monetary inheritance. I'm talking, will you leave a legacy? And will that legacy state what you are all about? Will that legacy transpire into something amazing? Yep, yep, yep. For all those listening, thank you so much for joining and listening to me. I appreciate it. If anybody wants to be a guest, please just you're more than welcome to join and we can chat. And are you living your life not to disappoint? I once, I heard and I thought this was such a powerful visual for me and very impactful for me, especially after I had that epiphany and I pivoted and was, struggling through. I had a wow, like steep ramp up with the whole online social media, all of this sort of stuff. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. But here I am. And this doesn't have to be for you. I'm not talking you need to jump on it. I'm saying what is for you. Figure that out and don't follow. Just be. Figure that out. What is that for you? You know? Are you great with mechanics? I know a 21-year-old knew she wanted to be tinkering with engines and mechanics and work and everything since she was from the time she was 8. And she's 21 and now she's an avionics mechanic. That's called commitment. That's called stepping into your light and pursuing it and seeing where it leads. 21 and has a career like that already. But that doesn't reflect you. That's one person I'm calling out. What are yours? And if you need it to be somewhere else, if you're in a job you don't like, then do something about it. If I'm not saying you run a job and and quit your job. That's not what I'm telling you. I'm saying do something about it. Be strategic about how you do something about it. Don't put your life in jeopardy or your livelihood in jeopardy, but strategically plan, intentionally going after what you really need and what you really want and what you feel you should be doing. But don't just sit in a job that you don't like just because. Don't do that, because they ain't serving nobody. It's not even serving you. It ain't serving nobody. You become bitter. You become, that's how all these other things start to unfold and life becomes complicated. You become unhappy. The unhappiness extends then outward into the family, and next thing you know, you have an ex. Don't be like that. Bring joy as an individual to yourself by pursuing what gives you joy, by pursuing what gives you passion. Put intention behind that, all of that, and then see how it manifests and try to learn to manifest. Not telling you it's easy. It ain't easy. It ain't easy. Trust me, I know it ain't easy. But it has to start somewhere. And first you got to decide to say, I'm going to find some time for myself. I'm going to actually connect. I'm going to figure this out. That's the first step. And that's all I want for you. Because you're deserving and you're worth it. We all have worth. Don't let anybody tell you that you're less worthy than you are. We all have worth. I don't care what, creed. I don't care a hoots behind. I'm telling you, we all have worth. And don't let nobody downplay that and tell you that you are worthless or you're less than or you can't ever or you will never or it ain't for you. All that stuff. Kick to the curb. And anybody who tells you that, look at them twice, 3 times, 4 times. And you might need to distance yourself. Just saying. Don't shoot the messenger. You just might need to distance yourself from someone like that giving you that kind of messaging, because it's toxic and it ain't good for anybody. And the delight might be in proving them wrong. So yeah, choose you. Choose you. One of the things that I saw is tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn. That's a quote from Benjamin Franklin. And it's a very nice thing because it really calls out is that by being involved, being tactical, you put a strategy, you start to be tactical about it. You do, action, 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 act, act, act. You learn, you grow. And next thing, amazing things start to happen and unfold. That when you look back after doing all that type of stuff, when you look back and you look at the person that was, they aren't the person that is. And that's beautiful. It's beautiful to see, beautiful to look back on, beautiful to recognize. And all of us deserves that beauty. So step into your spotlight. If you can write, if your gift is to write, write. If your gift is to dance, dance. If your gift is to golf, golf. If you're whatever your gift is, do it. Never too late. Do it. Start going after what is intentionally meant for you, because nobody can take it from you if it's intentionally meant for you, but you can take it from yourself. Notice that nobody can take it from you, but you can take it from yourself. And most times people take it from themselves, and then they sit and go, how did I get here? or what is in the world is happening, and then they say boss lady blah blah is the reason, or so and so is the reason, or this happened so this, and then it makes stories, and then it becomes real again because they created their complaining and all of that into a story, and then that story becomes supposed real, and then you forget what the real story. Yeah, no, don't go through that cycle. Simply step into your spotlight, start to develop you, all the amazing pieces of you, replacing some of the old, not so great pieces, and coming together to make an amazing individual. And recognize your ups and downs is one of the many things that help to make you who you are today. So tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn. Action, 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 action. Right? You don't want to memorize nothing. Right? And you definitely don't want to forget. So action, action, action to learn, grow exponentially. Yes, yes, yes. Right? How awesome is that? How awesome is that? That's what we get to do. That's what we get to do. Because we are amazing. The human nature, humanity is amazing. It really is. We are amazing, magnificent. And last stream, I called this up. I want to call it out because I think it's relevant still. Right? C.S. Lewis, you are never too old to set another goal or dream a new dream. So pick up those dreams, dust them off, put them back into circulation, and go, go, go. If you can't remember what the dream was, create a new dream. Create a new dream or just reflect and you'll see the dream will come back up because it's already in you. It will come. And then do, do, do. I love doing that. Do, do, do. I'm sure it's irritating for the people watching, but I enjoy doing that. It's just fun. It's fun. And I'm a child at heart, so I can be silly at times. So, yeah, right? Choose you and follow Gendrix. Go on and follow me. Thank you so much who are listening and to me live. I appreciate all the support. Thank you so much. So, but go and follow because that's the only way. That's the only way we grow. Any of us on here, that's the only way we grow by following, like sharing. So help to share, help to, follow and give me your support. I thank you so much for it. But yeah, do, do, do. You got to do, do, do. One step, one baby step at a time. And you'll be surprised how far you get. It's the old, tortoise walking slow, but guess what? They still get where they need to go. And they still cover a lot of ground. So you decide whether you go slow, whether you go fast, whether you cool it down a bit, fast, slow, mix up the two, whatever. But the point is to get going and don't stop putting yourself last. That's the message. That's the passionate message. Stop putting yourself last because you have value and you have worth. I know it and I want you to know it. I believe in you. I want you to believe in yourself. Don't let nobody tell you you can't. Can't stand that word. Don't let nobody tell you you can't. Knock that from your vocabulary. Okay? What you shouldn't do is break the laws. See the difference? All right? But do within the confines of our laws. So there you go. But do. Excel. Achieve. I don't even believe in this thing of success. I believe in achievements, one after the other. Achieve, achieve, achieve. And in order to know you've achieved means that you have to have been going after something. So which means you had a goal, right? In order to achieve, you have to be going after something to achieve. And the only way you can achieve is if you had a goal to do something. So goals lead to achievement. Achievement leads to growth. And growth determines how far you go. But I don't believe in this concept of success, or the work, how success is portrayed is by having things. It has nothing to do with things. It has to do with getting to your intentional purpose, why you were here. Because we are all here for something. Everybody on this planet has a purpose. So what is that purpose? And intentionally go after it, because it's related to the gifts that you find that you're doing without even thinking, having a great time doing it when you're doing it. And you could do it for free, and you don't need anybody to pay because you enjoy it so much. But then you stop doing it because somebody told you can make money out of it. But guess what? You probably can. Even today, I was talking about I can't remember what they're called, but the people that literally painstakingly set up photo shoots for food. So a bowl of cereal, or a pizza, a slice of pizza, and I'm making it look amazing for the photo shoot. They're called a something technician or artist, or I can't remember the name for it. If somebody does remember, by all means, put it, chat me up with it, or send me what um, that particular skill is called, what the role is called. I used to know it, I can't remember, but I was talking about it, right? Of just the how long, like sometimes a shoot could take a whole day, sometimes days, but it could take a whole day to set it up before they're ready to take the picture. And they sometimes sit with toothpicks, like sometimes long toothpicks, sometimes short ones, just setting it at the right angle in the right way. They go through a bin of, I was using strawberries. They'd go, because I've been at a studio where they would do this, and say they're going to do a strawberry. They would go through a bin of strawberry to find the right strawberry, not just any strawberry, the right strawberry to be in the picture. And then they have to pose that. And I was talking about how amazing this type of work is. Like, it just floors me that there's such a role, and somebody does it, and it has a name, and that's their job. And I admire the job. I want everybody to understand that. To me, it's amazing, like how you do that, and the patience, and the wow, to spend hours getting something right, to take a photo shoot that probably lasts maybe an hour after hours of setting it up, and then that's a good day's work. Like, it's just amazing to me. Totally admire them. But look at that. That alone is an example of how every detail counts. It's not a that one's about perfection, for sure. That role, their lens, their artistic lens, is for a perfect picture, right? So I'm not saying for us to become perfectionists, 'cause I'm a recovering perfectionist, so I get that. I'm happy to say I'm a recovering perfectionist. But it's about understanding that small steps, careful actions achieves, right? Careful action, small steps still achieves. And it has nothing to do to say they're successful or not. So I think this whole word of success is really overrated, and the social imagery and messaging behind it is not, in my mind, productive for us, or good for us. So everybody goes after success, except that they equate success to fancy cars, costly, big houses, to deem that is what success is. But to me, success is achievement. right? So I'd rather talk to a successful person and tell me about your achievements. Oh, I've got, 20 best-selling books, and all that. I don't care about what they drive. I don't care about where they live. I frankly don't care. I care about what they've achieved, and I know how much work it takes. So I admire that. I don't envy it. I don't anything. I admire it. And if all of us could learn that and just keep achieving, 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 then we get somewhere. But more so that you're doing it for your intention, or what you really, for the gifts you were given, because the gifts you're giving gives you happiness. So to tie that achievement now to being happy means you're utilizing your natural talents, and they're fueling your energy. They're fueling you know your energy in a very abundant way, that you're always energized. But if you're just doing and achieving and going through the motions and you still achieve, but you're not happy, it's not success. That's, to me, isn't success, right? So you have to think about these things and say, how, in what way, in what perspective do I give my life? In what perspective do I, how do I look at my life? From what perspective? And where am I now? And where do I want to be or need to be? Am I where I want to be? Am I where I need to be? Am I heading in the right direction? Or have I fallen off the bus? I fell off the bus from at a teenage, shortly after teenage years, because I told you I was helping people. I was doing this work in high school. I was on the right path then. If I had continued it, oh my gosh, imagine where I would be. And then I fell off the turnip truck, as they say. I fell off the turnip truck and still had some, like, I was still using some of my gifts. So that's what kept me going as long as I did, before I realized, what in the world, I need to pivot, right? So I fell off, only then to pivot right back to what I was doing as a teenager. Oh my goodness. You can imagine the shocker of that, the oh my God, OMG of that for me, when I was like, holy crap, I was doing this in high school. I was on the right path. So life is something else, isn't it? It is something else. And there are many paths to get you to where you should be. And we get to decide, are we going to take the difficult, lengthy, bumpy path, or are we going to take the smooth path, or are we going to, you know, ride in on a wave, the fast, like, what are we going to do? Perilous path? Like, we get to decide that, and that's what we're accountable for. Nobody else. Don't blame nobody else. Or we make the decisions. So don't blame nobody else. We make the decisions. So, even the ex that you thought, oh my God, how did I end up with that person? Don't worry, you chose. Takes two to tangle, you chose. I'm there with you. I'm not, this is not a put down. This is absolutely not a put down. It is about how funny life is. And we only have one that we are living right now. And how do we live it fully? And it starts with us. It starts with us getting real. It starts with us getting very real about us. It starts with us getting in touch with us. It starts with us acknowledging what we've gone through and where it's brought us, acclaiming the good that came out of it, getting rid of the crap and the crappy stories and all the different spins, pulling off the facade of BS, right? Just take the bullshit facades off and get real. and start to look, depending on your age, on how much time you have on this earth, and start to put things in place and doing things for yourself so you're not internalizing and becoming to then drive health problems that could shorten your span on this earth, and really think about how you want to leave, right? And for me, I want to leave with legacy, and I want people to know I was here, and I want to help as many people as I can while I'm here. So very clear for me, really clear. So, and I want to do it my way, like in the way I was meant to, not through somebody else's way. I don't want to do it through somebody else's way. I want to do the way I was meant to, right? Using my God given talents, staying in the lane I understand, and creating an amazing journey. That's what I want. And right now I'm on that amazing journey and I'm loving it. And I want you to love your amazing journey. I want you to get on your amazing journey and not just end up someplace and go, well, right? I heard this thing about the graveyard being the richest place in the world because that's where all the knowledge has died with the person, right? Never passed on, never shared. They're gone. And also because it has the biggest regrets because it's filled with a bunch of souls that never are, bodies that never did what they were meant to do or never achieved what they were meant to achieve. So there's a lot of regret. And that was really mind blowing to me because it was so starkly visual. And I find graveyards very peaceful, right? Some people might be chuckling at that. Of course, it's peaceful, but I find it very peaceful. And so when you think though that it's a bed of regrets or bed of unfulfilled potential, think of that. Like I've never thought of it that when I heard it, it was so stark for me that it actually enthused me or energized me to make sure that I'm not one of those pools of potential that never really was seized or never reached. So I don't want that for you either. Right? If you've got a bucket list, you're not doing what you should be doing. Right? If you got a big bucket list, it's because you're not putting yourself first. Think about that. I said that to somebody and they were like, "What do you mean?" They came in with the bucket list, the movie, everything like that, and said, "Put your bucket list." But think about it. If you have a long bucket list, you've been putting your energy on other people. You haven't been putting your energy on you. Am I wrong? Please let me know if I'm wrong. But that's how I feel. If you've got a long bucket list, it's because you put your energy towards other people and you didn't put it towards you, and your cups are depleted. And when I call out cups, I'm talking your mental, your physical, your spiritual, and your emotional. Right? And the emotional one is really about managing your emotions. It's not about just being emotional. That's not what I'm talking about. So there's a whole thing I can go into, and obviously stay connected with my stream and my talks to find out some of these aspects of what I'm talking about, because I'm not necessarily going into them in deep details with each one, but I want you to understand that, right? So to me, if you've got a bucket list, a large bucket list, it's not that everybody's going to have a bucket list, but if you've got a large bucket list, look at that very carefully and say, depending on your age, depending on how you spent your time so far, you probably might not have been putting yourself first. Just saying, don't shoot the messenger. Just saying, you probably weren't putting yourself first. Right? And I'm saying, put yourself first. Life is short, or it can be. and start to explore what your purpose and your potential. I'm not even going to say purpose. I'm not even going to say purpose. What potential do you hold that you're not grasping, that you are not exploring, that you are not leveraging, that you're not even attempting to find it, to see? What is your potential? I think I have huge potential on many levels. I am a creative being. This is one of the things I've come to accept. I am a creative being. I have huge potential that is still untapped. So I'm not, please don't think I'm saying this thinking I ain't done it. I'm telling you, I'm now on that journey and I'm determined to explore that journey and see where my potential takes me, because I have huge potential and huge talent. So, what potentials of yourself are you not seeing, not that you're dismissing, or anything like that? What is that? And why? What's holding you back? Because as I said before, if it's fear, fear is face everything and rise. Use that acronym for fear. Fear is face everything and rise. Mr. B, when he told me that acronym, I told him up front, I'm going to be using that. Thank you, Mr. B. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it because it really put everything in perspective. And if it's debilitating enough to make you dismiss it or not even try, then what are the crap, shites, messaging, all the crap that was handed to you that you now, of somebody else? You're not good enough, you're not capable, you're stupid, all these type of bullshit messaging for you that you need to just dump and do Divintastical. Become the artisan of your life. That's what you need to do. Become the artisan of your life. Dump that bullshit. Because it's probably not true. And get back in the driver's seat of your life and become the artisan of your life and live divintastically. And if the negativity is a constant, separate from the ones that are driving that negativity. Start to paint your space, fertilize it, plant your seed, nurture it, let it grow, de-weed, cultivate, sow it, water it, and watch what grows. Because we all have our potential. We all have it. We all have our gifts. We have our potential. And it's time we look at it and not be beholden to somebody else's limiting beliefs of ourselves. Dump them. And you learn to start to say no. And be prepared when others say no, and take their no to be next opportunity. Don't take it personal. Just go, okay, next opportunity. Your loss, not mine. Move on. And you yourself start to know when you need to say no and when you don't need to. And recognize that by saying no sometimes, from coming from yourself or from me, saying no is creating, opening up space for other things as well. So get comfortable saying no. Start get comfortable assessing everything, saying, should I be doing it? No, my gut's telling me no. Then say no. Say no. Sorry. That's okay. So you can have space for all the other things you need for you. Because your cup needs to be overflowing to help others. Don't try to pull others along when you don't have nothing in your cup. How you gonna do that? You don't have nothing to sustain yourself furthermore then. So fill up your cup, overflow it so that you can then bring others along. When you're ready, when you're capable. I heard this thing the other day with Jamie Foxx where he said, his father got in trouble and it was at a point when his career was now taking off and all of that. So what did Jamie do? Jamie focused on his career. He continued to build, so that when his father got out of the trouble, he could be there, and he created this cushion for his father. That's what I'm talking about. That's what you need to do. You cannot bring others along when you have no abundance in anywhere. In any of your cups, there's no abundance. There's no wealth there. There's no mental wealth. There's no physical wealth. There's no, spiritual wealth. There's no wealth. There's no emotional wealth. So you don't have nothing to help nobody. And when they drain from you, it's vampire type approach, right? Think of it. When they drain from you, you don't have nothing left. So you have, there's health issues related to that, all sorts of things. So no, that's not the way it was meant to be. Please understand that. That's not the way life was meant to be. Life was meant to live fully. It was meant to live simply. And it was meant for first starting with you so that you then have what you need to help others. Just like in the airplane example, when the mask comes down, you put on yours first, then you deal with everybody else. Same concept in life. Same concept. Deal with your shits first. Deal with your shites first. Deal with your crap first. Deal with your things first. Build yourself up. Build yourself up. Put you first. Build yourself up. Take care of your body. Take care of all the aspects, all dimensions of you. Mental, physical, spiritual, emotional. Deal with all the dimensions of you. Mature it. Deal with it. Be healthy about it. Wealthy with it. And then you've got the abundance you need to help others. So don't just think that, no, that's not how it works. Okay, that's not how it works or how it should work. So, no, 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 no. So I just want to take a minute to thank everybody that's been jumping on, listening. I thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate. I ask you to continue to support me following my my website is jendrakes.com. You see my name on there. So just no space, jendrakes.com. Go there. You'll be able to listen to my podcast. You'll be able to see my written materials. A lot of things are going to start to unfold on the website. A storefront is coming. Courses are coming. So really excited for that. A lot of our services are going to start to unfold on the website. We have business coaching with acceleration, zero risk to businesses. So there's, we don't want to take any upfront anything. Just reach out if you've got a business you want to improve your cash flow and profits. Then please reach out. Send me a note. Let's, get me and the team in to start helping you with things like that to accelerate and grow your business. So you're not alone. That's my brand. You're not alone. You've got someone here that cares and that wants to see you flourish, wants to see you reach your potential. So if you've got a business and you're challenged with cash flow, profits, even if you think it's going to crash and burn, please reach out. Let's look at a recovery plan for you. If on the personal side, if you are, struggling with different issues, smoking, health issues, anxiety, if you're, you know, self sabotage, limiting beliefs, shame, if you're in pain, um, please, trauma, please reach out. Uh, I can help. I get results quicker. And just because it's quicker doesn't mean we're cutting corners. NLP techniques at the quantum level and all we do, I'm able to help. So please reach out. If you want, you can book a meet and greet with me, um, or you can just send an email to Jen at youareworthmore.co. So Jen at youareworthmore.co. Please, reach out and let's chat and see how I can help. I'm here to support and get you where you need to be in a very healthy way. So please, let me know 2023 is coming up. Let's kickstart 2023 with one big massive kick, one big massive kick to get your year started in the right way. Forget these silly New Year's resolution. Let's really take action. So reach out. I am happy to help and support and help guide and mentor and just nurture the way you need. So please, um, you know, jump on the website and browse around and see the different things as they start to unfold, and follow me on the social platforms. I'm on subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you. That would be great. Um, so please subscribe. I would, there's a goal I have in mind for subscribers. So please subscribe and subscribe on Wisdom, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, that's where Facebook, all these, Instagram. So just please follow and support. Thank you so much. And so, yeah. So getting back to, there's another saying I want to also call out. What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. And this was a Ralph Waldo Emerson quote. And I love this quote because it talks to the past, it talks about the future, and then it talks about what's within us. And the way I usually speak to this, you have things that occurred in the past, and they're meant to teach us. There are lessons, there are learnings. We're supposed to look at it, try to grasp the learnings, because I don't know about you, but in this life I've lived, I've found that if I don't grasp the learnings, I spin back through that learning again. And I don't want to spin back through any learning again. I want to get my learnings, I want to apply them, and I want to move forward. And yes, I can understand if there's a nuance to the learning as I grow that I need to learn. I just don't want to go back through the old learning because you'll keep spinning. Don't want that. So you look to the past, you grasp the lessons that you can based on what you now know, and you then apply those lessons and you move forward to to go forward, right? And that's moving beyond your past. That's really embracing the past, understanding the good that came out of the past, whether the it was an up moment in life, a down moment in life, doesn't matter. Get the learnings and keep them and apply them as you go forward. Then the future is, okay, where do I want to be? Where am I headed? And being very conscious about that and being very intentional about that. Not just going through the motions and not caring. It's being very intentional about that. It's the future. But where we really need to reside and be in and be present in is the now. We need to be present in the now. We got our learnings. We got our lens looking forward, going, that's where I'm headed. That's where I intend to go. And we got our learnings and we got our skills, that the innate capabilities we were given. And we apply those in the now towards the intention of the future, where you want to be and where you're headed. And you start doing the actions. Action, action, action. Action, action, action. Some people will do big action. Some people do small little actions. Doesn't matter. Their action. Take action. Right? Take action. Oh, something I don't know. Get what you need in the now. Right? More action. Action, 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 and keep applying the learnings, opportunities. Look at them. Which ones do I seize? Which one don't I? Why don't I? Blah, blah. And you keep going towards the future. So, what I like about Ralph Waldo Emerson saying was, what lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. And the within us is where I want to now speak about, because I happen to believe, I'm not saying you have to believe, but this is what I truly believe. And this is from my own learnings and having overcome my past and taking what learnings I needed to learn, applying them and moving forward. Having done that work, and it's still imperfect. This is not about perfection. Remember, I'm a recovering perfectionist. And I'm proud to say that. So it's not about perfection, but it's about having a way forward. In the now, I have come to realize that my God is within. My God isn't something I'm out there looking for, it's within. And I look to connect to that God every day and get my learnings even in the now, connecting the dots to the past and moving forward with what I have in that moment to get through each day and to keep moving forward. So I love that Ralph Waldo Emerson talked about with what lies within us, because I take that to be my God within. Some will call it your soul, some will call it your spirit, some will call it different names. I call it my God within based on my growing up teachings. So it is my God within. And so I wholeheartedly support that quote. And we have to look at where we think that is, whatever, what, it doesn't matter, whatever your beliefs are, spiritual or religious, doesn't matter, whatever your beliefs are, you need to connect with that in the now, leveraging all this stuff you've gathered, applying what all the learnings, the lessons, the downloads, right? Listening to gut and all of that, applying your innate capabilities. Just like I apply my writing, my speaking, and my influence, apply those innate capabilities with a target to where you want to go or you think you're going, and keep going. Because sometimes the opportunities that land takes you on, you arrive at where you want, in a kind of different way, miraculous ways. And you start to see miracles unfold in that journey. But it's where you need to focus is in the present. with an eye to the future, and with a pocketbook or a handbook of lessons you've learned from the past, painful, hurtful, or otherwise. And then in the now, you take decisions, you take actions, decision, action, decision, action, decision. You take those and you move forward with. And that's how you start getting your achievements. And you can't get an achievement without a goal. So you start getting your goals, then you get in your achievements, and then you keep going forward and you grow and flourish in every way. That's what I truly believe. And it's from my own journey. It is from my own journey. Nobody else's. Right? My lived experiences have taught, and trust me, my lived experiences aren't something I my hardship started at 5, 6 years old that I can remember. 5, 6 years old, and they were some pretty deep things that I had to work through. I had to figure out the lies from the truth, from the lies from the truth, and really work and get beyond those. Right? My and they weren't easy. They weren't easy. And I questioned a lot, and I was angry for a part of my life. Really angry. I thought I got handed a raw, shitty deal by this thing called God, by this person called God, who people told me loved me. And I thought, well, if he loves me, I would hate to see the ones that hate me, because I got a shitty deal. That was how I was thinking as a child. And I kept questioning, and asking, what in the world point me? But man, at this stage, I'm sitting here telling you, thank the heavens, thank my God within, because the word that resonates with me is survival. I've survived. I've grown. I have up leveled. I am blessed. How do you go from who gave me this shitty outcome to I am blessed? That's a journey. That is one hell of a journey. So, and I ain't the only one. There's ones with even things, but man, am I grateful, and man, do I am I blessed, and man, am I contented and happy and delighted, and just every day loving my life, loving where I'm going, loving where I'm headed, and seeing things unfold and go, where will this take me? Um, and just being, you know, be cuddled in gratitude. Be cuddled in gratitude. Wow. Right? So I want you to, I want you to experience all that you can in this one life you have. Live it fully. That's what Divintastical living's all about, and embracing it. It, to me, as I said, it's a movement as far as I'm concerned. It's a movement. It's about embracing living life fully in all facets of it, with you at the pedestal of your life. You at the pedestal of your life. Knowing who you are, knowing all aspects of you, defined by you, articulated by you, reaffirmed by you, and nobody else. Nobody else. And having the courage and the bravery to look at somebody and say, how dare you try to tell me how I think or what I'm capable of? Let me show you or tell you what I am capable of. But do not have the right to tell me what I'm capable of. Imagine that, the courage and the bravery to say those things. Because you know your potential. You know who you are. You know what you are all about. You know the values you uphold. You don't need anybody telling you it. And that takes courage, it takes bravery, and it takes a journey of discovery, and embracing that journey of discovery and loving it and loving what you are discovering and redefining it and painting it on a canvas or sewing it or weaving it to build a carpet. Whatever you choose as your tool to paint you, to define you, to identify you, whatever the tools you choose to use, the fact that you choose tools and you are enjoying the journey of showing people and telling people who you are and what you are all about is true empowerment. It's true proclamation. It becomes testimonial for you, from you, not from anybody else, from you. And it's freeing and lightening. You are light. And when I say light, I mean in weight. You are light. But also you expend vibrations and light from you. You are your own spotlight. And who wouldn't want that? And you are in control. You are driving. Not on an automatic car. You are literally shifting gears as you go, because you are truly in control of your journey. And you are able to tap in to your divinity to get the flight map or the road map or the spiritual map or the treasure map that is uniquely you. Yes, yes, yes. Let's just be ecstatic and happy about our life and the possibilities of it, and the possibilities of us, and the possibilities of who we are and who we can be. And let's get real about where we are in that journey. Let's get real about where we are in that journey. Yes, yes, yes. Where exactly are we? No facades. Don't try and pretend. Not interested in facades. I'm interested in real, and you should be. Right? You should be. Where are we? Where are we indeed? Right? So let's think about that. Let's think about it. So, coming up to the top of the hour, I'm going to go for a little while still. We're on the last leg. And again, I want to thank everyone for listening. You are listening to Jen Drake's, just for all those, the many that joined, um, just to make sure we are all on thing. You're listening to Jen Drake's, all about Divintastical living, which is the concept and movement that I created. And I'm also author of the book Aladdin Carpets on Amazon. You can find it on Amazon. That really, I am all about everyone knowing, embracing, and accepting the worth that they have, understanding that they do have a worth, and about living life fully, really ingrained in feeling worthy, feeling settled in your skin, in yourself, and unapologetically proclaiming who you are and what you're all about, and going on a journey of discovery of that, and by putting yourself first. Because one of my practice philosophies is that we are all born with at least one gift, and it's up to us, each of us, to embrace those gifts, transcend all our circumstances, and accelerate our growth and ourselves to a higher level based on elevated and up-leveled mindsets and perspectives. And as a board designated master coach of neurolinguistic programming, timeline therapy, also called creating your future, and hypnotherapy and change management, and being a roadmap guide with the organization One Life Fully Lived, I am here to help people on this journey. I'm here to support and be the cheerleader that you might be missing in your life. I'm here to get you through trauma, your shite, stuff harbored inside that eventually sabotages. Here to get you through your shites. I'm here to help and support. And I can do that because I am part of an elite group of coaches that can guarantee our results in 42 countries. So well versed, more than capable to help. So please reach out if you must. And if you need help, please don't think you're alone. You are not alone. Please don't think that. And you can find me at jendrakes.com, JENN Drakes.com. You can also email me at Jen, JENN, at youareworthmore.co. Please make sure you know it's .co. So you can email me there as well. And when you go to jendrakes.com, you'll be able to see many things starting to unfold. You see my publication. You'll be able to see my podcasts. Please support me there for sure. Listen to the podcast because they supplement all the nurturing that I do. The podcasts and the streams, they supplement the nurturing that I do. So please listen because they really help with your mindset and your perspectives, and that's so important. So, yeah, please support. Okay, so you can check out the podcast on most of the major things, which, as I said, you can listen to it right off the website. So, and of course, you can download it. So, anyway, just wanted to make sure. My current book is called Latin Carpets. It's on Amazon. I encourage you. The podcast will have a chapter a month from the book, but if you want to really support, then please go. And if you do, even if you listen to the audio of the chapters, please go and put a review. Those reviews on Amazon really do help. So I encourage you to please go and put a review. And if you write, and of course, if you wish to buy the book, it is there. Thank you, and I thank you in advance for that. But it all helps, right? Um, and it helps me to bring you quality programs, more quality programs. So thank you for that. Um, so that's where you'll find me. I thank everybody again for supporting me, listening. I hope you enjoyed. I found it enlightening. Drove up some good conversations. By all means, share it. Follow me on Wisdom. Follow me on LinkedIn and all the social platforms. That would be wonderful. So, thanks for all that support. And just going into the tail end, I want you to also in the last stream, I also called out by Aristotle, which is another. He's definitely one I really do love his quotes. And he said a quote: "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, therefore, is not an act but a habit." And I said, I myself am pursuing excellence, not perfectionism. I'm pursuing excellence for myself because you know it's what's needed. It really depends on how you look at excellence and what you call excellence. And I don't want my lens of excellence is not perfectionism. It's about doing the best job you can with what you have at the time and looking to do it well, taking pride in what you produce, taking pride in what you deliver, taking pride in how you deliver it. That's what I call excellence. And it's not about getting it right because, I was late starting because I had I had to figure out a technical thing and I figured it out and got on and thing. But it's about that, the commitment to what you are striving to do and achieve. And it's about putting the work, time, money, energy into that to produce and manifest the things that you really are striving for. And that to me is excellence. It's not about that there won't be mistakes. My last stream, I was painting the picture like it was so the performance of my system was really poor, and it was like I was and I'm tell it was like that. And perfectionism, I would be upset about that. But as a recovering perfectionist, I said, oh well, it is what it is. I gotta improve, like I gotta get better and figure this out. And I did. And now today, it's a better production. It's a better delivery. My life is better. My life is not painting the screen. Why? Because I did what I needed to do to improve things and make sure that I wasn't doing that, or the stream wasn't going that way. That's what I'm talking about excellence. Like it's got to be a commitment. So what are you committed to? What commitments do you have? Because just like accountability, commitment in this world today is like a messed up. you know, a messed up type of thing. Nobody wants to commit. I remember someone saying that about a younger couple. Forget, but it was a younger couple decided they were living together, and I go, okay, so you just want to hang out rather than make a commitment of marriage or something. The older person said, obviously a generational gap. Um, but it was in it. Now I reflect on it. I look at that perspective a little bit and go, I get where they were coming from, right? Um, so we need commitment. And it's not about living together or anything. I'm not putting down anybody living together, not married. That's not what I'm talking about. Not at all. What I'm thinking about is, are you committed to yourself? Are you committed to the potential you have? Are you committed to the possibilities of you? And just how committed are you? Are you willing to invest time? Are you willing to invest money? Are you willing to invest energy? Because that's what those are. That's what you need to thrive and thrive in a big way. Sure, we can all settle. I can go and settle and sit down and just say, this is what I'm going to do. And thank you, thank you for the paycheck or whatever. I can do that. But I don't want to do that because my commitment to me is so much bigger. And I have to tell you, it wasn't always that way. I don't want you guys to think I'm talking. No, it wasn't always that way. But I truly am. When I pivoted, that pivot came with a non negotiable, and I'm going to use the word again, unapologetic commitment to myself. And it goes beyond you guys believing in me, it goes beyond to me believing in myself. Because if I believe in myself, you guys will believe in me. And that's where my commitment is. My commitment is to myself, to my ability to make a difference, my ability to connect and get you motivated. I am committed to that. But I'm committed to it for myself to do that, to be here, sit and talk to you for 3 hours and not miss a beat, not take a break. That's my commitment. Because I want you to know you are worth it. I want you to know I believe in your possibilities. I believe in your potential. And I do. But first, I have to believe in mine. Because I can't pass that on to you if I don't believe in mine. And I look to walk my talk and talk my walk. So, what is your commitment to yourself? Because if I am a complete stranger, can do that for you and hold that space for you and carry this safe space for you, then yes, my expectations, you carry it for yourself. And I hope that for you. So, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Commitment is a huge thing. And we need it. We have to start going back to being committed. And taking that word a little bit more seriously sometimes than I think we do. Myself included, I was part of that. Absolutely. So let's commit on this last leg of me being here with you. Let's commit. I will commit to myself. I just told you that. I'm totally committed to myself. And I want you to commit to you. Let's leave on that high where you say, I got something from this. And I'm going to pause. I'm going to pause. I'm going to look. I'm going to figure out what are some of those things I'm carrying around that are guiding my behavior, guiding my habits, guiding my choices that are not actually mine. They were handed to me and I don't want them. What are those things? And what are those things that were handed to me through my ups and downs that I really am embraced and I really embrace and I'm delighted in and I don't want to change. And I'm grateful for those experiences because they delivered this to me. Let's go through some of that inventory of ourselves and then commit that where's that guiding me then? What are those learnings? What are some of those things? What is it guiding me? Where's it guiding me? What should I be doing that I'm not doing? And what do I need to get off of this couch and get back to being in the driver's seat of my life? What do I need to do to get back to live my life a little bit more fulsomely than I'm doing right now? What are those little baby steps that I can take? And for those that are absolutely jumping for joy and going, I'm going to commit, what are some of the bigger steps I can take? But let's do that for ourselves, right? Let's do that for ourselves. Let's not be shy. Let's do it. It's amazing when we do it. That's all I can tell you. I've done the journey, some of the journey. I'm still on my journey, but I've done some of the heavy work lifting. Let me tell you, I've been shoveling my shapes for years, and even very recently, and up leveling, some of the little sparks came back, and I had to do some more shoveling. It wasn't as heavy as before. It was light. It was a light little baby shovel, but still, it was a shovel, and it had, you know, things. So it's work we gotta do. It's work we gotta do. So let's just do it. Let's commit to do it and see where it can lead. And for all those that have done it and are completely ecstatic on their in their lives, well, I commend you. That's amazing. Awesome. Amazing. I'm happy for you. Really I am. But not everybody is that way. And I don't want people to be left behind. The world is changing. That's what I meant. If you join me for my next stream, which is not next Saturday, the Saturday after, where I will talk about that, about the fact that things are changing. but and that's all I want spoiled. And I don't want nobody left behind. So let's, become more aware, more in touch with ourselves and start the work. Start the work. And if you're already started, awesome, continue it. Continue it as I'm continuing it. But commit to do what it takes to get you where you need to be and where you want to be and what you see for yourself and your aspirations. Set some goals so that you can start to really tick off the achievement. There's nothing greater than when you tick off a goal that you've set because you've achieved it. Wow. Right? I'm in my reflective period now. My reflection starts from September to December. Between those months, and we're in our thankful period. Thanksgiving is this season. This season is one of Thanksgiving. Wow. So this is where we get to reflect. I reflect. I start planning for the upcoming year. I look at what I've achieved, what I haven't achieved, what can I still achieve. All these things I do between September and December. Been doing it like that for years. I don't know what I would do if I didn't do that. So I'm in my reflective period. And I have a amazing sense of what has been accomplished, what I am targeting to accomplish before the year end, and what I new goals I'm setting for 2023. So if you this is an optimal time to do that this type of work. Thanksgiving is this season. So start to think about, put you there on the pedestal and say, okay, what do I need to do? What are these things I'm not facing, not dealing with, not achieving, but yet I want to? What's holding you back? What's stopping you? Reach out to me. Let's chat. Let's talk. Let's get on a call. Let me get you going. Right? So, I want to thank again every one of you for being there, listening, supporting me. I just want to thank you so much. I don't know what else to say, but thank you. I'm so humble. And just keep supporting me. And I will support you, but you need to reach out. You need to commit. You need to take a first step. You need to take a first step. So follow me, start, um, you know, seeing the things that I do, the integrity that's there behind it. And thank you once again. And on that note, I will bid you a good night. I will bid you a good night. Thanks, everyone. Just follow me on the platforms. Thank you so much. And have a great night. And for any of those celebrating, any Canadians that were on celebrating their Thanksgiving weekend, happy Thanksgiving. We have so much to be thankful for. We really, really, really do. And just go in faith and that know that you are magnificent and you are worth it. You are worthy. You are worthy. Thank you so much. Amazing beings. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Thanks, guys. Have a good night. I'm out of here. Let me just end and happy Thanksgiving to all the Canadians. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend and please take time to focus on what you have and do not spend any time focusing on what you don't have. Not this weekend for the Canadians. Ciao.